Do you want to be poor, own nothing, and eat the bugs?
Nope.
I didn't think so. But that's what the loving elites have planned for us by 2030. Thank you, Klaus Schwab. He's such a generous overlord. While his bald head might seem harmless, his New World Order does not include Bitcoin. Their ethos, it's incompatible with Bitcoin. Hence their disdain for it and backing of CBDCs. The global crackdown on free speech and bank accounts is here, and Bitcoin was built for this moment. You ready to defeat the New World Order? Let's go.
Like, people didn't know about the World Economic Forum 6-7 years ago. At least most people didn't. They didn't hear about it. They didn't hear about Klaus Schwab and, you will own nothing and you will be happy. When you hear him say stuff like that and hear them talk about young global leaders, you're like, what is happening here? Like, you seem like a bad guy in a science fiction movie.
I'm going to tell it to you straight. I'm going to tell you the truth. Our darkest days are ahead of us, not behind us. And now's the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there. Let's clap for that, you stupid bastards.
This would be the time because you really need world order, financial world order.
This alternative vision argues that ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
We are here to develop the great narrative, the story for the future. But in order to shape the future, you have first to imagine the future, you have to design the future, and then you have to execute.
Sorry, citizen. You're at a 7.4. You're almost a loyal citizen. You can do it.
Nope, to hell with that. We refuse to be slaves around these parts. We refuse to eat your bugs, and we refuse to have our life savings stolen from us by the most inept, disgusting, freedom-hating individuals on the planet. Welcome back to the most bullish Bitcoin news show on the planet. I'm your chief propagandist, Rustin. Now look at this. The answer to the Great Reset is the Great Reset. That's right. Now let me tell you why. Let's start by checking in on the UK and seeing how things are going. I mean, this is a democratic country, right?
The time's 20 to 3, 1440. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. I'm just
What?
127 of the Communications Act, okay? So you do not have to say that may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later are in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being
You're
arrested?
going to be arrested, okay?
Right.
So you got to the police station.
Right.
You, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need to ask you some questions about that.
But I'm going to be
we've had
arrested for
reports that
posting on
you've made
Facebook.
some comments that are offensive, obscene, and people have made a complaint about that, and it's transferred.
And
they've
can
come
you-
from
can you tell
a
me what
Facebook
this
account
comment
in your
was?
name.
We'll do
Okay,
that
well,
in
we'll
an
do that when we interview.
All right. And so
Okay.
what am I going to be locked up for the night, or?
Hopefully not.
Oh, they politely detain you. How sweet. So the thought police now will metaphorically come through the window like the eye-hole man and send you to the gulag. What for? For posting something the state doesn't like. Okay, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this was just some one-off.
We have some breaking news now, and a woman has been arrested by Cheshire Police in relation to an inaccurate information on social media.
You gotta be shitting me. All right, so statism is confirmed and going viral in Europe. They can't get enough of this stuff. I'm still yet to hear from those three-letter organizations warning the populace about the rise of authoritarianism and Big Brother. Oh, that's right, because they are Big Brother. Individual freedom, liberty, privacy, property. No, those things only belong to the state and its cronies. This is democracy in action. How do we fix this? Because they're everywhere. They're in the cabinets.
The young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, half of this government, are actually young noble leaders of the world. Grateful. We penetrate the cabinets.
The change is not just happening. The change can be shaped by us.
If there were a group of people to oust and ostracize holding any political office and try under the Espionage Act, it would be any of those affiliated with the unelected authoritarian WEF. Peter gets it.
Well, we're going to replace divide and conquer with unite for freedom. Uniting for freedom means that we will repeal the censorship law, C11. Uniting for freedom means we'll repeal the law that's taken your news off of social media, C18. Uniting for freedom means no mandatory digital ID. Uniting for freedom means banning all of my ministers from any involvement in the World Economic Forum.
Now many act surprised, but those of us in the know knew they were going to do this. They told everyone it was coming, but make no mistake, it won't be limited to the UK or the EU. I mean, come on, guys, you read the Twitter files. The New World Order said exactly what they were going to do, and now it's being implemented to stifle wrongthink as we speak. What's hilarious and ironic is the untold damage from misinformation via the state, mainstream media, and central banks. But thanks to Bitcoin, we have a chance to send the true arbiters of misinformation running to the hills with Iron Maiden playing in the background. The WEF wrongthink police are the enforcers of what equals to sedition acts worldwide. What were the sedition acts, you ask? Well, time for a quick history lesson. Remember, history doesn't always repeat, but it does rhyme. We have been here before. First off, let's say when it comes to John Adams, not all founding fathers were created equal. In 1798, fear spread of imminent French invasion, which led the Adams administration to pass 4 laws, including the Sedition Acts. This act outlawed any false, scandalous, and malicious writing against Adams and the Congress. Also included in the law, it forbids conspiring to oppose any measure or measures of the government. Lincoln also did this later during the Civil War and suspended habeas corpus in the North. Good old Honest Abe, right? Look, if they can create enough panic and instill enough fear, they will get enough people to support their fear campaign and erase inherent freedoms. Adams and Lincoln are not alone in suspending the First Amendment. Arguably the worst president in history, Woodrow Wilson, put the rest to shame. Wilson presided over the creation of the Federal Reserve, the income tax, and the League of Nations. In addition, Wilson instituted the Espionage Act and the Sedition Acts during World War I. Globalists have not let a good crisis go to waste since 1914. During World War I, Wilson, legislative leaders, and influential newspapers pushed for the Sedition Act. Wilson was worried about the country's morale and wanted to crack down on rising dissatisfaction with the war and the draft. You know what they did? They stifled dissent and political opponents that challenged their power and authority. The acts were struck down in 1920, but the Espionage Act was recently used against one of the era's most outstanding journalists, Julian Assange. Now, the digital sedition acts. Warnings about the dark realm of online dangers are in a study on the WEF official website, the new fear campaign. They are combining the best features of human censorship, AI algorithms to guarantee that people's feelings are not wounded and that viewpoints opposed to the state are banned. Quote, by uniquely combining the power of innovative technology, off-platform intelligence collection, and the prowess of subject matter experts who understand how threat actors operate, scale detection of online abuse can reach near perfect precision. After much blather, it continues, quote, rather than relying on AI to detect at scale and humans to review edge cases, an intelligence-based approach is crucial. By bringing human-curated multilanguage off-platform intelligence into learning sets, AI will then be able to detect nuanced, novel abuses at scale before they reach mainstream platforms. Supplementing this smarter, automated detection with human expertise to review edge cases and identify false positives and negatives, and then feeding those findings back into training sets will allow us to create AI with human intelligence baked in. Welcome to Skynet. They will violate your right to free expression even before it has a chance to be published. Let's call it preemptive censorship. Quote, trust and safety teams can halt risks emerging online before they reach people, is how the World Economic Forum puts it. But what do you think, Joe?
There's this desire to control people that gets people to that position in the first place. This ego that makes them think, I should be the one that talks for the whole group. I know what's better for all of them. And as soon as you start using that in an unethical way like that, like censoring people, especially censoring factual information from experts, you're un-American. That's un-American. It's unpatriotic. In fact, it's one of the grossest things you could do in a place that values free speech. And we've seen so tangibly what's come out of this country, like culturally. The music, the comedy, the literature, all the crazy shit, the movies that have come from this experiment in self-government. And the only way it works is if you let people work it out. You got to let people talk. And you're going to get people that are wrong, and you're going to get people that are racist, you're going to get people that are sexist, and you're going to get people that are homophobic. You're going to get all that. But you're also going to get people that battle those people. You're going to get people that have better arguments than those people. You get people that sort of start posting links and and people start figuring things out for themselves. And that's the only way this works. It's the only way. You can't let these people that are elected officials decide what you can and can't consume. Because I don't know you. I know the you that ran for mayor. I don't know you. You might be a piece of shit. You might be a sociopath. You might be a smiling con artist that tricked a bunch of people because nobody wants to run, and everybody who does run sucks. It's like you're literally like boxing with 5-year-olds. Like, oh, you're the champ. Yay. No one's doing it. No one's doing it. Like, no real quality human beings are out there running for office.
Schwab believes there is a possible lethal internet infodemic that needs treatment. How Schwab uses digital first responders to identify offensive content for removal? Quote, so far we've recruited 110,000 information volunteers, and we equip these information volunteers with the kind of knowledge about how misinformation spreads, and ask them to serve as kind of digital first responders in those spaces where misinformation travels. Those guys should be working in the cabinets. Everything that defies the official globalist narrative on topics like green energy, inflation, constitutional violations, or Bitcoin, for example, is an infodemic, and it must be eradicated. Social media fact checkers are just one component of the censorship control, and many people are on to their techniques, so Schwab is sending in his digital army of infiltrators. Journalist Mark Little, who formerly worked at Twitter and developed the social media fact-checking firm Storyful, created an AI startup, Kinzen, that will meet many of Schwab's aims. Quote, I've started to see the spread of misinformation as a global health crisis. Misinformation is a serious threat to our society. Misinformation is happening among our friends and family, so we have to find strategies to, first of all, recognize it, and secondly, as active citizens, just like we wear masks to protect others, we need to be a good citizen, the active vector fighting back in our daily lives. The WEF? They're not the only organization asking for stricter internet content enforcement. Quote, the thing that happened a few years ago sparked a worrying rise in disinformation and conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories can be dangerous. They often target and discriminate against vulnerable groups, ignore scientific evidence, and polarize society with serious consequences. This needs to stop. That from Audrey Azoulay, Director General of UNESCO. Continuing, conspiracy theorists cause real harm to people, to their health, and also to their physical safety. They amplify and legitimize misconceptions about the thing that happened a few years ago, and reinforce stereotypes which can fuel violence and violent extremist ideologies. The UN's verified #Pledge to Pause initiatives come in collaboration with some excellent sponsors. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bloomberg Philanthropies, World Health Organization, Rockefeller Foundation, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, Google, the most blatantly statist search engine in existence. The truth is that those seeking to stifle free speech and create this great reset dystopia are the largest spreaders of misinformation on the planet. If their ideas had any merit, they wouldn't have to stifle opposition for them to be supported and maintain power. If these people cared about you, they wouldn't aim for you to own nothing and be happy. If your nation were sovereign, it wouldn't take and implement orders from an unelected cabal of globalist elites. If no one challenged the facts of what was obtained by Assange, why was he charged for factual evidence exposing war crimes? If people in places of influence and power were in a little black book, why aren't they in custody? If these people are the intellectual elite, the best and brightest, why were they wrong? And why do they seek to eliminate freedoms to cover up their mistakes? If they sought monetary inclusion, why have they constantly stolen your time and value through currency depreciation? If they were preserving the truth, why are they targeting the ones who were correct and not themselves? Bitcoin is the antithesis of authoritarianism. These centralized governments throughout time, their eventual debasement and control of the currency led to centralized wealth, economic management through management, begetting more management and intervention to take care of the errors of the malfeasance of the prior plans, leading to future plans and more chaos. Those making the decisions are the same leaders repeatedly elected and appointed espousing the dystopian WEF agenda. The same people who created the problems of the past 40 years, who put their names behind legislation like the Patriot Act, the war on drugs, the NDAA and mandatory minimums, corporate welfare, and the Inflation Reduction Act. Unsurprisingly, they were pro-mandating and dictating against the inherent liberties we were born with and granted in the Bill of Rights and just for being human. And somehow, these are also the same people chosen and elected to fix the problems they created in the first place. While these politicians, globalists, and bankers have been siphoning your purchasing power along with that of future generations, they've been filling their pockets, widening wealth disparity, and slowly eradicating the middle class. This centralized authority and wealth leads to power. And with power, governments like to plunder. We have seen governments plunder their citizens throughout history, and we can see it today in the USA, definitely abroad, we showed you earlier, and through the invisible tax of inflation, they plunder their own citizens' natural rights. Now, also, with this ability to plunder comes the ability to decide who gets plundered. Throughout history, those who have voiced opinions not liked by the state have been silenced, while those politically connected are allowed a free pass. They are exempt from the laws that the rest of the citizenry has to abide by. As the great philosopher Frederick Bastiat said, when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men in a society, over the course of time they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. All currencies led to full fiat in 1971, and this will eventually culminate in the issuance of CBDCs sought after by the UN and the WEF. CBDCs will be used to fully implement behavioral economics and a social credit system similar to that of the CCP. The state and the globalists can and will use these centralized systems politically. The antithesis to all this is Bitcoin. 40-year failures are being promoted. I mean, is this the society we want to live in for our kids to grow up in? Is this a merit-based society or one in which a few benefit at the expense of the many, plunder those who speak out, and siphon further wealth to mismanage? There is no central figure, company, person, government, corporation, political action committee, three-letter agency, religious group, or anything else in control or with the ability to control Bitcoin. It is the only purely decentralized and finite asset on the planet. Bitcoin is a decentralized international monetary network that favors no one, is controlled by no one, and is open to everyone. The society we live in has rules that apply to some, but not the ruling class. Bitcoin is a system with rules and no rulers. You want to become a sovereign individual today? You can get started and begin that journey with our sponsors, the masters of self-custody, the Bitcoin Way. If you're looking to learn how to Bitcoin, how to properly secure your Bitcoin, you might want to head on over to the newly revamped Bitcoin Way website where you can begin your road to Bitcoin sovereignty today. If you're looking to schedule a free 30-minute consultation, go ahead and use that link below in the show notes. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and set those notifications. We get a lot more coming your way. Share the Sound Money Gospel. Give us a pat. Space Monkeys.
Ready to sacrifice himself. Great and good.
Click here to keep this bullish anti-status party going. Hey, I'll catch you all next time. And as the base Bitcoiners in Canada say, peace out.
If you prefer to go down with the ship, fuck you.